Sean Cooper. I'm the owner and founder of C4 Sports Performance and Fitness. I'm from Pittsburgh, Texas. I played here, my journey to Durant, I played here at Southeastern. I played running back here from 03 to 2007. Graduated in 2007. I was very fortunate to further my career and go play in the GFL in the German Football League. Had a great time when the NFL Europe had just ceased. So for me, I got to play against a lot of former NFL players. I got to see a lot of guys that I watched on television, and it was just a blessing, But without Durant, Oklahoma, and without Southeastern Oklahoma State, I never would have received that opportunity. While I was there, I was very fortunate to play on some great teams. I played for the Marburg Mercenaries, the Braunschweig New Yorker Lions, the Magdeburg Virgin Guards. In my final year, I played in Mannheim for the Rhein-Neckar Bandits. I was able to accumulate, GFL MVP in 2009, European Offensive MVP 2010, set the all-time career single-season rushing mark, rushed over 3,000 yards. My second year there, I was very blessed, very fortunate to play without injury, had a great offensive line. That boosted me, a little bit to where a lot of people in Europe and Germany, they started to know me and hear my name. But my ultimate goal when I went was to bring attention to Southeastern Oklahoma State. I really wanted people to know that Southeastern Oklahoma State had athletes and that, we really could go out there and ball wherever we went in the world. That led me, coming back here, my best friend, one of my best friends and mentors, Bo Atterbury, he got the head coaching job here at Southeastern. And when he received that job, he called me and asked me if I want to be a strength coach. And at the time, I just had a daughter, I really didn't have anything going, so I was like, I might as well. I don't know what else I'm going to do with my life. And all growing up, I always said I never wanted to coach. And so when I remember the first month on that job and being in that weight room and being around those young men and to look and see, 60 young men, looking at you, 60, 70 young men looking at you and all of their hopes, all of their dreams and their goals, they're depending on you to help enhance their physical development. I knew right then, in that moment that this was the job and the profession for me. Since then, when we came to Southeastern, we said we were going to have the biggest turnaround in Division II. We said we were going to change the culture. We've been able to accomplish that, by help of a great leader, and that's with Coach Atterbury and the processes that he had in place. But more than anything, it was the players we had that bought into our mission, that bought into what we were telling them, and that believed that we could do what we were asking them to do and what we told them they were going to be able to do. In that time, we've had a lot of great players accomplish a lot of great things. Even sitting here right now, we have the all-time leading receiver, the all-time leader in interceptions, we have the all-time leading rusher, we have the leading tackler, one of the top 10 leading tacklers in school history. And so players like that really, really made this thing go, and they made that transition and changing that culture and coaching. They made the transition to coaching very smooth. They've done everything we've asked them. They put themselves in great positions to be great on the field, and most importantly, I think, 90% of our guys we have graduated and they've been model citizens and great young men that have developed off the field. C4 kind of came about, in that round. We were looking at something catchy to give our guys our second summer here. So, we were sitting there and we were like, man, what are we going to do? And so I came up with like 4 words. It was like, Coach Atterbury wants a well-conditioned team. Above all, he wants a disciplined team and a team that's well-conditioned in the fourth quarter. So one summer, I just came up with 4 C's. And, when you think of C4, you're thinking of explosives and things that blow things up. And so we wanted to have an explosive team, and predominantly an explosive team in the fourth quarter. So we came up with 4 C's, and initially they were camaraderie, because we wanted a team to be together. And they were confidence. We wanted guys confident in each other, confident in the coaches, and confident in Southeastern Oklahoma State. And then we wanted to be consistent together. And then the 4th C was just conditioning. In the process of that, we started to where I was training people as well, and people were like, hey man, why don't you do this, do a little bit more of this. And I was training people in the personal training realm, and it kind of grew, and it grew. And so, I've always had a connection with Durant. Like I said, without Durant, Oklahoma, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, and I wouldn't have accomplished anything I've accomplished in my playing career, and I definitely wouldn't have developed as a man the way I have, because I spent a lot of even in the off seasons when I was playing in the GFL, I spent my off seasons in Durant. Very humble beginnings. There's a lot of people that have helped me get to this point. Like Coach Atterbury has a thing where he says there's no self-made men, and that statement is true. I've had people, when in the off seasons when I was playing in Germany, in my first 2 years I didn't make a lot of money, so I would come home and I wanted to train, but Chris Allen, man, he really blessed me. I used to clean the Durant Democrat, I used to clean the newspaper. Chris gave me a job, allowed me to clean the newspaper. My wife was working there at the time, and that gave me, a little money, a little breathing room to make ends meet, to be able to train all day and to be able to, eat the way I needed to eat and train the way I needed to train. In that process, there's been a lot of people. Scott Crane, Carol Crane, the Crane family, they've been, I can't even put into words how good they've been to us. Scott currently owns Texoma Manufacturing in Durant, and they've been great, to myself, to my family. Me and my wife, we got married at their house. My daughter goes there, Carol's my babysitter, and everything just kind of flows. But it's definitely been a process of a lot of people in Durant. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but a lot of people in Durant have been part of making this C4 become a fruitation and us growing and developing to getting to where we are now. Where we are now currently, when we talk about these seeds, when you think of C4, you're thinking explosive. And so when we formed, C4, we were going to put our facility here. The goal was to help adults and help everyday people be able to live an explosive life, to become explosive wives, explosive husbands, explosive fathers, explosive mothers, explosive in the workplace, and live their most explosive life. So we came up with those 4 C's. My wife was like, hey, you need to change the C's. I'm like, nah, I don't need to change it, it works, but after a little scuffle, with my wife, a little verbal scuffle, we went back and forth, it was kind of like she was right as she typically is, and so, we kind of changed the C's around, we flipped them, and now, with everyday people and athletes, and our mission was definitely to help groom and develop talent right here in Southern Oklahoma and Texoma, and so that's how we came up with our mantra, the 580 fast. But when you look at the C's now, the first C is commitment. If someone is going to be great, they're going to accomplish anything, they have a goal they're set out to achieve or an outcome that they're seeking, they must commit to it first. They must commit to the task. They must make the commitment to themselves and to that goal and that outcome that they desire. But then, the second word is conditioning. And we try to put a positive spin on conditioning, as in, when you hear the word conditioning, typically it's in a negative light. But that's not what conditioning means here. Conditioning for us is just taking action. Because I can commit all I want, I can make the commitment, but if I never take action, and then deeper than that, conditioning is taking consistent action, then I never can get to my goal or my outcome. And once I've made the commitment, I continue to take consistent, deliberate action via my conditioning. Now my confidence is nourished and it grows. I start to develop and enhance my confidence in myself and what I'm trying to achieve and the goal I'm seeking to attain. And that, put all those together, you come up with camaraderie. And so, we go back to the basics. Commitment, that's a mental choice. I make the mental choice, I'm going to commit to it. Then once I start to condition myself, that turns into physical. And then my confidence is developed and enhanced. So now I have the spiritual and the emotional. So I commit physically, I commit mentally, I condition physically, and then, my confidence grows, and that's all internal. And that's where, the true transformation lies, is, coming from the inside out. I have that camaraderie now. Now I have camaraderie within myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And I can go out into the world, and I can be an explosive human being. I can be an explosive adult, an explosive parent. I can deliver, at my workplace. I can deliver. I can be an explosive employee. And that's, what it means to the normal person. But one thing, that we're diligent and we're on a mission to do is serve Durant, Oklahoma, serve Southern Oklahoma and Texoma, and serve the athletes here. We wanted to provide athletes a place right here in Southern Oklahoma where they can come and receive elite high-performance training without having to drive to the city, without having to drive to Dallas or Plano, Oklahoma City, and know they have somewhere they can come where there's qualified coaches. Every one of our coaches that coach with our athletes either coached on the collegiate level or they've played on the collegiate level, including myself, who've coached, played collegiately and professionally. So we wanted to provide a place for athletes to come and receive high-level, elite, high-performance training. And that's our mission, is to develop and grow, homegrown talent and athletes, and give them somewhere where they can do everything that they see going on in the city. They have that right here in Southern Oklahoma. And we're really on a mission to serve. If you look, our 580 fast, our hashtag, that's the name of our training system now. And the 580, that's just our area code. We're passionate about the 580. I'm personally not from the 580. The 580 is giving me so much that we thought we wanted to give back to athletes and adults in the 580. And the fast, the 580 fast, that's just our foundational, applied sports performance training system that we've been able to develop and enhance athletes already. 1 year in, we've been able to work with Sidney Youngblood, 4-time state champion in golf, now playing at University of Oklahoma. We have Frankie Okafor, who's a former Southeastern receiver. He was with the Arizona Cardinals. He just recently signed with the Hamilton Ticats in the CFL. And, I remember looking back in August, Sydney was, she was down at the U.S. Women's Amateur. She was playing on the amateur tour, and Frankie was playing in the NFL preseason game. And I just remember looking back thinking, man, wow, that to see how in less than a year, in the same weekend, we had an athlete at the U.S. Women's Amateur and an athlete playing in the NFL on the national stage. We have multiple other athletes. Trey Harper, he's from Durant. He led 5A in rushing this year. He signed with Northeastern Oklahoma State. And multiple athletes, from kindergarten all the way up through the professional ranks. We're just here to serve and help develop and enhance young athletes and help them go be explosive on the field and off the field as well. We want them to make the commitment to themselves in school and being model citizens and model young men and young women. We want to bring them in conditioning, teach them the right way to train, teach them the right way to eat, teach them the right way to think, because everything goes on is a mindset and a mentality. And then we want to see, especially in young athletes, young teens, all the way up. We want to see that confidence enhanced, because they're going to need the things that we're teaching. They're going to need them for the rest of their lives. They're going to need to commit to a task. That'll be committed to a spouse. They're going to need to have that conditioning, be able to overcome adversity and push through when things get tough. And they're going to need confidence in themselves. Men are going to need confidence to go provide for their families and lead their families and lead their wives. Women are going to need that confidence to go be mothers for the daughters that they may have. Then they're going to need that camaraderie within self to believe, I have all these things mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I have it together. Now I can go out and have camaraderie within the world. And so for our athletes, we want them to be able to go out, everything that we teach here, from the commitment, the conditioning, and the confidence and the camaraderie, we want them to develop that camaraderie within self and take that back to their teams and enhance their teams, because that's the ultimate goal. I tell the coaches, like Coach Carroll over in Kingston, we have a lot of Kingston kids. If a kid doesn't come to summer prime or they don't go to their team workouts, I tell our athletes, don't come here, because everything you're doing here is to go elevate your team and your community. But we've been blessed to have great kids that believe in us. We've seen kids develop already. We have multiple kids playing at the collegiate level. In our first year, we had 5 kids play as true freshmen that were in our summer program, and so we're very thankful and very blessed. But all in all, we're just here to enhance the community of Durant, Southeastern Oklahoma, and Texoma, and help develop explosive people.